Hi everybody, it's Oni here, so being part 2 of What If Deku Wasn't a Quirk Marriage. I would like to say thank you guys so much for the love and support you guys have showed on the last video. It's phenomenal for how many people who enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoy part 2 of this. And I would like to also mention I have a second channel which will be linked in the description. If you guys would like to see anything new on that channel, please let me know in the comment section down below. And without further ado,
Got me here by the throat. Holding me
if you guys wanted a quick recap, go watch the end of part 1 as we carry on a week later from the sludge villain incident that happened with Izuku meeting All Might. Izuku just called Shoto up asking her if she would like to train with him for the 10 months of training. Without hesitation, she said yes in a very excited but tsundere tone. As the moment Izuku hung up, Shoto instantly got ready and went out the front door to go meet with Izuku, but the moment she left the house, she was stopped by Endeavor, asking her where she was going. "I'm going to train with someone, old man. It doesn't include you." As this made Endeavor piss off and threw himself in flames, as Endeavor replied saying, "It does inquire me. You're gonna get married to that Izuku kid. And if you want to or not, Shoto, you're going to give me a grandchild." As Shoto got pissed at this and threw ice at her father. But before Endeavor could react, Shoto used ice to try and escape, and successfully did so. As then she was starting to run over to Izuku's gym. As the moment Shoto arrived, the manager, or the co-manager, called Izuku down because Shoto was here to see him. As Izuku came down in his workout gear that he wears on a daily basis, because the clothes that he normally wears now barely fits him. He has to get personally sized clothes to fit around his muscle lines, as there will begin the training of the 10 months. As Shoto and Izuku is just finishing off their last rep, as at this point we have done a 9-month time skip. This is 2 days before the entrance exam. As Izuku and Shoto both said in unison, "We should rest for the rest of the days and study on our minds," as they both said in unison. As Izuku agreed with this, same with Shoto. As Shoto went home, as Izuku sat there in the office of Inkomadoria studying for the entrance exam. As we do a 2-day time skip once again to the entrance exam, as Izuku was just waiting for Shoto to wish her luck on the recommendation exam, as he saw a girl about to fall on her face, as he instantly went half his speed to catch her as he did so. As Izuku says, "Are you okay? You almost did a nasty fall there." As she replied saying, "Oh, thank you, I wasn't looking where I was going." As this person is Ochaku Araka, as she was helped up onto her 2 feet as she started talking to Izuku. But around this time, Shoto arrived. As Shoto ran to Izuku and also plummeted him into a hug, almost making him fall over. As Shoto said, "Hey Izu, what's up? I hope you do good on the exam," she said in an excited tone. As Izuku replied saying, "Yes, I hope we do good too. I wish you the best of luck, Shoto," Izuku replied saying. As they all walked into the entrance exam getting ready for their first step into the hero course. As Izuku and Shoto was walking into their expected areas to do the written portion, we're going to skip over the writing bit because I know you guys don't want to see it. Izuku got 3rd place, Shoto got 4th, and everything else went as canon. As Izuku and Shoto was going to their respective battleground areas to start their fighting. Izuku is in A while Shoto is in B. Shoto was bummed out because she wasn't in the same area as Izuku. But the one thing Izuku didn't know is that Shoto was taking the normal entrance exam with him, because she wants to prove that she is stronger than her lover. Or lover-to-be, as President Mike was just shouting, 3, 2, 1, go! As they all ran outside of the gates to get into the model city so they could do their entrance exam. As Izuku ran in, seeing a 3-pointer, as he destroyed it with his bare fists. As this continued for 5 minutes, Izuku racking up over 60 points and 30 rescue points. As for Shoto, she ranked up 75 villain points and 22 rescue points. As we do a little bit of time skip to where the 0-pointer came out, as Nezu said to All Might, if you really want to test your students, this is one way to do it. As Nezu pulled out a key to the red button, as he flipped the switch and pressed the red button to reveal a big green monstrosity robot, as this came through the model city, crushing everything in its path. As Izuku felt the ground rumbling, wondering what it was, as he looked over to see the monstrosity, which is the 0-pointer, as he was debating on running, but he knew he could take it. For some reason his body moved on its own, as he started running like a madman to his death. As he was running, he heard a girl screaming for help, as he had to turn his attention to her, as he started running towards her, as he saw rubble trapped under her, as his first instinct was to lift this off, as he grabbed her by the arm and threw her up to put her into a bridal style, as he lifted her up and started running like a madman and running from the robot this time. He wasn't fast enough, however, as the robot was about to crush him, as the robot was randomly stopped by a piece of ice frozen in its wake. As the robot tried to move out of the ice but was stuck. This person who helped out was Shoto. And Shoto replied saying, "You'll be stuck without me, won't you, Izu?" Shoto said. As Izuku let out a little blush and sighed, saying, "Okay, how long can you hold that for?" Izuku said. As Shoto replied saying, "A good minute, why do you ask?" As Izuku just started running up to the robot's arm, as then he started running, and running, all the way to the robot's head, as he tried to do a technique which he learned from watching All Might videos. As Izuku's muscles started to tense up, as he focused all of the muscle power he had into one single point, which was his right arm, as his muscles started to bulk up even further than what they did before, as his muscles was bulging and ripping his clothes, as the muscle fibers starting to slowly seep out because the skin can barely contain it anymore, as Izuku charged it up as far as he could and released it at the monstrosity's head, blowing it off and sending the robot flying back with tornadoes of wind pressure surrounding the robot. As Shoto looked up in awe and shock, thinking her Izuku just did what I think she just did. He pulled off an All Might, Shoto said. As we cut back to Izuku when he threw the punch, his arm was just on the verge of straining, as he held his arm in pure pain, but it was still bearable to move. As then he looked down to see how is he gonna get down from here, as it fully seeped in, as then he started twirling his arms around trying to stay in the air with his wind pressure, as he just fell even faster. As Shoto tried to create a little swirly slide so Izuku can get down barely unharmed. As Shoto made this slide, as Izuku came crashing down on it, as it went as planned in Shoto's head. As it actually happened, Izuku started rolling down it, but a little bit too fast, as Shoto tried to stop him halfway to try and momentum him, but he just made him faster. As when Izuku came down like a cannonball, he almost hit Shoto, but he kept on rolling until he hit a building, breaking the wall in, like it was at 5% one for all, as the entire dent in the wall was gone when Izuku hit it. It went straight through, leaving a giant hole in the wall. Most people came over to Izuku, wondering if he was okay, as Izuku sticked his head up, laughing, saying, "I'm alright." As Izuku just giggled all the rest of the day, as Shoto came rushing to him, embracing him in a long hug. "You idiot, you idiot, you idiot, why'd you do that?" Shoto kept on hitting him in his chest over and over again, until Izuku just grabbed both of her hands and kissed her long and hard, as Shoto just melted into the kiss, as she just gave in to her desires, as she allowed it. As most of the people there were in shock that they kissed during the entrance exam, as President Mike shouted, "That will be all today, folks. You all go home, the exam's over." As Shoto and Izuku got shocked and separated as fast as they could, as both of them had red blushes on their face. As Izuku was the first person to say anything, as he recommended for them to go before their late home. As we cut to the inside of the teacher's preference room, as All Might saw what happened, as he angrily questioned Nezu, asking him who was that kid who destroyed the zero-pointer. As Nezu replied, saying, "That kid is called Izuku Midoriya. He is the son of a gym pro that worked with Mirko and a bunch of other pro heroes during her time." Then All Might was looking at Izuku's ripped, toned, muscled body, as this intrigued him beyond his comprehension, as this sparked something in his eyes, thinking he would make the perfect one-for-all successor. He can probably be able to use 100% of one-for-all at the start, All Might thought, as his call was cancelled out by Izuku and Shoto both walking out together, hand in hand. As All Might was just about to quickly stand up and run out the door, Nezu stopped him and asked him, "All Might, where are you going?" As Nezu drinks a little bit of his tea. "Well, I'm going to find the kid who destroyed the zero-pointer." As Nezu replied, saying, "Oh, Izuku Midoriya? Yeah, he has really got some potential for only a muscle quirk. That was very surprising for what he did," Nezu said, and taking another sip out of his tea. As Nezu stood up and told All Might, "If you want this kid to be your successor, learn who his what personality is instead of just instantly giving him the quirk. You almost give that little Bakugo kid your quirk, am I correct?" As All Might nodded, saying yes. As Nezu pointed to a screen, saying, "That would have been your successor, but 10 times worse if you get him your quirk." As he pointed over to a monitor, as All Might wasn't shocked about what this kid can do, as All Might decided to drop Bakugo from the successor list and add Izuku to it. As All Might said, "If he does good on the practical test, I will give him my quirk and train him to learn how to use it," All Might said. As Nezu replied, saying, "That will be fine, as long as you get to know him so he doesn't end up being one of those villains you hate so much."